Okay, so with a lot of our production having been set up now, I went ahead and redid the front of my second factory to match the first one, again in that very 80s Miami sort of theme. But while I was constructing all of this, I took down my space elevator so that I could have more room in here for setting up my more permanent factories. But I figure it's about time to put back together the space elevator. Now, I know I've got a lot of resources in the desert here that I'm going to want to get to, including these questionable sources from refined power. I don't really know what those do yet. But my expectation here is that I'm going to want the space elevator near to my central manufacturing, which I'm setting up down here. And that I'll be bringing stuff in by train, very likely, for a lot of the parts that are going to go in it. So I figured building this platform all the way out across the desert is going to give me sort of an access road in and out for everything that I'm doing. And I thought I would build my space elevator off of the top of this, not too far away from the base, because right now I'm still walking back and forth from the hub, but that my main mega factory would be over there, and then the space elevator I would put over here and then connect those up. So I think that's what we're going to do today. I think we're going to start wiring these pieces together. So I know I want it to be a little higher than where I am right now, which is floating above the desert, but not too super high. But I don't want it to be ridiculously too high, because then it becomes impractical to get items in or out. So I think we're going to go up about 3 foundations from where we are right now. So let's do 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. Okay. And now we're going to build ramps up to it. So we grab our ramps and we just turn that around. Just like that. Okay. And now we know that it's going to be a 7x7 structure. That's how big the space elevator is. It's technically 6.75, I think. So we're going to go over here, 7 foundations, and we're going to go this way, 4 foundations, and then on the other side, we're going to do 7 again, and this time we do 3 back. Okay, so that means 1, 2, 3, 4. This is right smack in the middle. And just so that I know that that's right smack in the middle, we're just going to make that one darker. Okay. Now, we actually need to build the space elevator. Now, let's see here. We want the control platform on this side coming towards us. And I think that should be perfectly centered. Okay. Yeah, just like that. And then our parts will load in on the sides here. There we go. And as you all may recall from the second episode, we have to watch this animation again. I just really, really love the space elevator animation. It's just so cool. I wish everything in this game had this level of detail to it, but they really went all out for the space elevator. Oh, and it makes the screen shake and everything. Oh, it's so good. It's such a good animation. Okay, and now we need these sets of resources to get to the next tier. Smart plating, versatile frameworks, and automated wiring, which we have not started production of any of these. Now, I'm not going to set up a whole factory just for these items because you need so few of them overall, and they're very expensive. But as far as production goes, we've got the refined plates and the rotors. We have the steel beams and the modular frameworks, but we haven't set up the stators or really even any large-scale cable production needed for the automated wiring. So stators are probably the next thing that we need to build a factory out for. Before we do that, I want to make this platform look a little neater so that it kind of looks like it's actually a functional part of the base. So let's try building this out a little bit and see if we can't make it look a little cooler. Okay, so I have the areas here where I'm going to be loading in and out my various items on either side of the factory. And I know I need to keep this main front access area because this is where I'm going to be doing all of my loading in and out. But I built out an extra row of foundations around the edges. And, oops, I forgot to do the last row here, which are the 4-meter foundations, not just the smaller 1 meters that I did in the middle here. So that's going to give me a little extra room to play. And I think what I want to do is do some sort of an interesting thing with like a diagonal ramp system that'll kind of make this look like it's kind of centered in this like shallow dish or bowl that we can then decorate a little bit. So for that, I think we're just going to start laying out some ramps and see how we like it. And I think maybe we can even bring these in. Can we bring these in a little closer? Yeah, that could work. And I do like that the space elevator allows pretty significant clipping here, which I think otherwise would make this somewhat problematic. Okay, we'll do one like this. And then we will have our approach, I think, coming in on this side. Just like that. And then I think we'll just repeat that process. So we'll do a couple of down corner ramps. Another one here on this corner. Just like that. And then we'll use these up corner ramps in between. And finish that there. Okay. And I think, because I measured this first, that it should give us basically these 3 ramps on each side. Just like so. Okay. Grab our up corner ramps. Put them here and here. Oops. And then I think on the back side we'll do the same thing. Just like that. Now I do need to leave room for my various ingredients coming in and out to be able to be piped to all sorts of interesting places. But I think I'm going to do that through floor holes. I think that's going to be the most elegant way to get things in and out without it looking like a total belt mess. So let's go ahead and get our logistics and our floor holes here. And I think these can be right in front of them, if I remember correctly. Like that. And, as I'm eyeing this, it looks like it's off by just like the smallest fraction. Yeah, see, that's just not ideal. Not ideal. But if I bring them from here... Yeah, I think that's going to end up working just fine. So I'm going to put one in place just to kind of give me my spacing there. And the way to get around this might actually be to use micromanage instead. Yeah, because you see these are just not kind of wanting to line up properly. Okay. Well, we can certainly come back to that. Let's finish out going around this, and then we'll worry about connecting it all up beneath. Just like that. Okay, so there's the general framing laid out of 2 levels of ramps. I think we could even maybe do a 3rd level of ramps, potentially, and that could still look pretty darn interesting. And we'll try that real quick. So it'll be a little longer here on the outside than on the inside, but I think that's okay. Yeah, that's starting to look nice. There, nice and imposing. Now I think we need to have something that's going to give it a little more depth and make it feel nice and chunky. So I think we'll do a series of foundations here, and maybe we'll do something where these are with a gap in between. Come on, stop that zoop. Apparently you can only zoop now. That's too bad. Something like this is what I'm thinking. With a gap there, and then maybe we'll use our structural solutions, maybe not the concrete walls. Maybe we'll do... They've got some nice metal gratings that I used to like to use a lot. So maybe we'll do this. Like that. That's starting to give us an interesting texture, making it look nice and kind of industrial. There we go. I like how that's coming together. But we need something that's going to break this up a little bit so it doesn't look quite so, you know, spaceship Coliseum. And I think for that, let's go to our architecture, and maybe these concrete pillars are the way to go. Let's see here. I think what I can do with the concrete pillars is run them here. Just like so. Yeah, that seems to work. Yeah, it looks like you have to have something to set them on for this to work properly. Because you're trying to get that little angle lined up right there, where you're getting in that corner. Okay, let's step back and take a look. Oh, and this needs one more. Yeah, that's starting to get there. Now we want it a little less institutional, so let's grab our black paints. Let's set these off a little bit. You know what, these might look better as metal later. So I think that's starting to come together. Now, of course, you know with my builds, I always love the neon glow, so I might want to go through and add some glowing neon somewhere in here as well. before we do that, let's go ahead and finish out this other side real quick. Just so we can balance it out a little. Like that. And we still have to figure out what we're going to do about the sides. That's also going to be a problem. And we'll grab our concrete pillar again. And plunk those down right there on the corners. And right here on the side. Actually, I can do that right down here. And then drop it below and run these back up. And grab our swatch again. I'm just going to paint that up. There. Now, because these are the Satisfactory provided pillars, it's not going to give us that thick, dark black. But if we go back to Structural Solutions Concrete, I think we have a smaller concrete pillar that does go darker. Not seeing it. I think that one at the top is actually too big. Yeah, so this is a 4x4, and these are much smaller than that. Those are like a 2x2 or something, I think. Maybe the Expansions has one? Metal walls, ramp fence. No, I'm not seeing them. I-beams and frames. No, I guess not. I was hoping something that's going to give us a little more texture here, but maybe the metal ones are what we're going to need to do. But I can't unlock those just yet because I haven't gone and done all of my steel unlocking for this playthrough yet. Okay, so this is a good start. Let me go work around the sides and take a look and see how this looks. Okay, friends, so at this point in the recording, unfortunately, I had some weird glitch where the audio stopped recording. So once again, we're doing a voiceover recording after the fact. Here, we're just showing off a little bit of what I had done on the inside to build this out. So I replaced the big concrete pillars with instead the painted beams. I thought that looked a little bit nicer here. And I also changed the outside so that it was only 2 ramps high coming down, not 3 ramps high. Now, what I'm trying to do here is actually rotate these so that they match and are flush with the diagonal portions of the wall. And also I went ahead and painted them black. Again, I wanted that distinctive texture to look a little different from the surrounding foundations that are just that plain concrete, as well as the metal gratings that I was using in this section of the build. So just showing off a little bit of that build here. And then this is what it's looking like now that I've attached the inverted ramps on the bottom and started to build out some foundations up. Now, Smart Mod, for at least the version I'm using right now, when you try to go vertical with foundations, it skips one in between for these 4 high. So it's kind of got these gaps that I'm then going to fill in with gratings. But I'm also using these quarter pipes to frame the entire bottom of this structure. And I think that just looks kind of neat. It kind of makes it look like a giant concrete pillar. Now, nearby we have this river, which I figured is a great place to get some power generation going. So we do have the water turbines from Refined Power, and you all know how much I love Refined Power. So we're going to plonk a couple of those down right here, and then run those with some cables all the way back to our base. Now, these are mainly going to be used for powering just our elevator. We're not going to use those for any of the mini factory that we're going to be building inside here. For that, we'll end up running our power line back off of our main generator. And that's for the simple reason that 2 hydroelectric power generators is not going to be enough for the considerable amount of energy needed to run 16 assemblers. But it will power our elevator just fine with absolutely no problems and no extra power needed. Now we're going to want to set up a couple of different floors here, and I want to set up a floor in between in the middle of this so that I can have a temporary floor for construction. This is going to be the section that we use for creating everything we need for the next phase of construction for the space elevator. So our smart plating, our versatile frameworks, and the automatic wiring, all of those we're going to produce inside here. And we're only going to set up a very, very small area to do that, just because it's going to be a temporary setup, just long enough to get this next unlock. After that, we'll remove all of this. I am building this out with the intent that if I need to, I can add additional tiers above and below where we have this currently structured. For right now, we're just going to build with the one floor of it. We're not going to worry about that. And here again, we're just going to add another floor in between, as we were just talking about. We're going to go up a little bit, and this one's going to give us a little more floor space. As you can see, it goes a little wider here because of where we are in that inverted ramp section. So that'll give us a little bit more room to play. And we can basically have 4 mini wings for that factory that we're building now. Ooh, can't quite make that jump. Now, I'm not really finishing out the inside of this so much. I probably could do more with the inside later when I want to decorate this, but for right now, I just want to get these metal gratings plunked down on the outside of it, just to kind of finish off the look of the build. And I do think these gratings add a lot of texture here, just by fitting them in between, sandwiched with these other layers of foundations that we have. I think they match really nicely together, kind of the same way we have up above, but it kind of gives it this nice little stripe pattern. And I might want to come back later and add even more to this to give even further texture, but I think temporarily this works well. Now, while I was doing all of this building out of the bottom layer, I did see that off in the distance, there appeared to be one of those downed pods, which has a hard drive. So I decided we'd go exploring, and we pick those up while we're here, mainly because I'm interested to see, not for the hard drive, which we don't need to unlock just yet, but I really want to see if there's any extra parts that might be around here that we can use to dump into the Awesome Sync so that we can get some more tickets. And thankfully this only takes rotors to get the hard drive, so we go ahead and pay that cost and pick up the hard drive. But it turns out I didn't really find much. There were some wires and some cables, some industrial beams here, but not really anything else of any use for, again, moving to get more tickets generated quickly, which again, those are the stuff you're going to find lying around at this point in the still early game. Really, it's better to just go ahead and dump into the Awesome Sync than it is to hoard those for later. Motors, computers, AI limiters, things like that, I just dump straight into the Awesome Sync if I find them. So here I just am back to finishing out this metal grating, working my way up the building, and framing this out just a little bit more. And I definitely am going to go back and cut down these trees inside, just because I think it looks a little silly having trees in the middle of your building, and it's kind of obnoxious for clipping through as well. Okay, so we're inside of the floor just below our space elevator. And here we're going to set up some really basic production area. Some assemblers for all of the things that we need for the next tier. Now you can see that I've started setting these up on either side here, but we really just want to create a nice little space so that we can unlock all of the next tier 5 and 6, excuse me, of our construction. And to do that, we are going to need to make all of the things on our shopping list there. We need automatic wire, and smart plating, and versatile frameworks. So what I like to do is just set up a couple of assemblers really quick and dirty like in each of the corners of this elevated section that I've created here. You can see we're kind of floating out over the desert a little bit. And each of these 3 sections will be responsible for creating one of those 3 parts that we need to unlock this tier. So we're just going to set these up really quick. And then the goal will be to just manually kind of feed a bunch of items in over here. And then kind of let it run while we're off doing other things. And then eventually this will be done and it'll unlock for the next tier. Okay, so there we go. We've got all these wired up, and all they're waiting for now is the parts to get started. So let's go pick up all of our parts. Okay, so there we have it. I did have to go back and set up one other section here. The 4th corner I'm using to build stators. I haven't got that automated yet because my steel pipe production is very far away from my copper wire production right now. So I haven't put those 2 together yet. But at some point in the near future, hopefully when we get trains unlocked, we can set up a plant to make stators. But for right now, we're doing those on this side and then piping them up and over and all the way back over here to where we're doing our automated wiring. And then the automated wiring, of course, goes up through these ceiling holes, which are floor holes on the other side, along with the other products that we're creating. But right now I have exactly the right number of items going in to finish the number of versatile frameworks, automated wiring, smart plating that we need for the next tier. And you can see that ticking away in the top right corner. Now, thankfully, because this game is really smart in showing you how close you are to that objective, we can go off and do other things while those numbers continue to count up. We don't have to keep track of it. I haven't finished decorating all of this build yet, but I'll show you what we've done up top again real quick here. So here's our space elevator. So you have this long entryway and you walk right up to the load, seal, send platform here. And I just built these this octagonal platform here for it to sit on with these painted beams and sign labels to make it glow. Then I have these big painted beams on the side here. I'll probably do something more to decorate these in the future, but right now I haven't really thought through what that's going to look like. Maybe I'll put big claw arms coming off of that or something, but I think just having pillars looks okay for now. Then let's just take a real quick look at the front. Again, I haven't finished all this build out yet, but I've done these pillars again, and I've put these signs to make it light up. And eventually I'll do this all the way around here, but that's not complete. The other thing I'm missing is I don't have the inverted corner pieces I need for these platforms yet. So all of these edges will eventually be filled in once I have those inverted corners, but we don't have those today. So I just have kind of framed in this platform here. And as I was mentioning before, we have these half pipes, these quarter pipes on the bottom. And yeah, we just took advantage of Smart Mod's automatic gaps there that it puts in to fill in these with concrete foundations and metal wall gratings from the Structured Solutions pack. So again, these will be all diagonal on these corners here, so it will be an octagon all the way around, but for right now, until we unlock those, it's just going to be this kind of awkward looking structure with just 4 sides done in, and it's kind of wide open. And also, I might even wait until I have the jetpack before I try and put these lights on here, just because that's kind of a pain, putting lights on the outside with building foundations and tearing the foundations back down. But I think we're off to a very good start. I also did want to show off that I finished out some of our decoration here on our storage facility. And what I did was I did a little bit different from the 2 factories I did on either side by using this outer corner extension that I've actually used micromanage to scale up. By default, the outer corner extension is tiny. As you can see, it's about this big. It's real small. So these are about twice as big as they normally are. And again, micromanage lets you scale those up. So I just plunked those down. I think it gives you this nice look that kind of matches but contrasts with the adjacent buildings, so that it's in the same theme, because these all have this chamfer top that we've used to give it these round edges. But it also looks visually distinctive, and that you can tell it's a different building. Almost looks a little bit more municipal with these windows the way they're added in. But I think that it adds a nice little addition to our factory park that we're building here. And then now you can see at a distance our semi-complete space elevator platform. And you can kind of see where, we still have a little bit to fill in here, but you kind of get a feel for how it fits into the rest of the landscape here, and where some of our new construction areas are probably going to be in the future out over top of all of this. So yeah, I think it's coming together really nicely. I know we didn't quite finish this build. I know we have some challenges with resource production to really get that all together done, but I think we made really good progress this episode on it. I think between now and the next session that I'm going to be recording, I'm going to leave our ticket production happening in the background there off of our resources, and see if we can't get a few more coupons to purchase those diagonal corners that we're missing. It would also be nice to unlock some of the other roof materials and other things. So I'll probably leave this running for a few hours in the background here, maybe overnight. And hopefully by then it'll also finish our phase 2 production and complete that objective, which is slowly ticking away in the top corners. You can see we're still about only halfway done with smart plating. The other 2 are getting much, much closer. But for now, I think we're going to end the episode here. So thank you again for joining us here on Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.